What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another XD Daily Creative Challenge with your host, Brandon Gross. Welcome back to Adobe Live, ladies and gentlemen. We have some amazing peeps in the house. We have Miss Fergie, how you doing? We have Hillary, Annie, Krista, what's happening? And I think we even have some peeps whose birthday it is today. So shout out to Mazaleka, what's going on? Happy birthday. Glad to have you here. First off, those of you guys who want to join the conversation, all the awesomeness that we have today, come on over to Behance. Link should be down in the description if you are on YouTube. Come on over, have a chat. All right, so let's jump into what we have for today. This is day number 1 of Daily Creative Challenge. Let's talk a little bit about, one, if you're new to this, how to join the challenge, what today's challenge is, and how to submit at the end of the day. Some of you guys are a little ambitious and already got on that journey. So let's talk about it. Link in the description. Our amazing Sam Peterson should be able to escort you to how to get to this page. Also links down in the description. Every day you'll receive a challenge from this page. You can join our community with amazing mentors, things of that nature. But let's talk about what we have for today. If you guys have any questions, we have short time today, but I'm going to try to answer anything that I can in regards to this project today. So today's July 27th. The challenge runs up until August 20th, so we have plenty of time. Today's day 1, and we'll talk about how to submit your work, things of that nature in just a moment. But we have for today, animated buttons, designing and animating an interactive sign-up button. We have it looks really cool. I'll show you guys what exactly that looks like in just a moment. But let's talk about how the Discord works. First off, if you're not registered, I am, so I see this button instead. But if you aren't registered, go ahead and click it. It'll have you enter some amazing information to really just join us in our Discord, where you'll be able to submit your work, challenges, talk with our amazing peeps at Adobe, our mentors, and things of that nature. If you already see some submitted work for day challenge number 1, we have some spoiler alerts covering up what people's work have already been, what they've already submitted. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. Some people already started, so let's talk about what we're building today and move along, shall we? Hey, what's going on, David? How you doing? All right, so let's move this over here. So today's challenge was inspired by an amazing OutCrowd piece where they have a really cool mobile sign-up button, and essentially this first part where we have that nice little gooey orange, that's essentially about what we can get done in about the 20 minutes that we have today. So let's get started. Let's jump into our starter files, which are also, again, down in the description. You guys should be able to click a link if you haven't already to download that starter file, or hop in on this page if you are, get started, and your file should be there. All right, so let's move into Adobe XD. So I did a little bit of due diligence already, and I want to kind of showcase to you guys what we're going to be building today and what it will look like at the end. So we have our get started button. We click it, boom, awesomeness. We have a cat. Our name is Brandon Gross now, and we have a little movement with our button based on what we hover. So that, hopefully, there's a lot of magic going on here. We'll be able to jump into this now. All right, so let's hop into what our starter file actually looks like, what you guys will receive on your end. I added a little bit more flavor to mine, just in case we run out of time here. So you guys should open up your starter file just with a single page to get you up to speed. April says, it's gorgeous. I'm glad you dig it. All right, so let's talk about what we're gonna do here first. I built out some components, or just things to save me some time. But the first thing that we are going to do here is, let me grab this so I have my handy dandy reference. And I always like to do this when I'm designing. I have a huge, it's very difficult for me to design without reference. If you can in the chat, please let me know. We would like to steal some of your magic. But it's always important for me, whether I'm learning, etc., to take screenshots of whatever it is that I'm trying to reenact. So I built out the first page for you guys. You're cool there. Next up, we're just going to go ahead and design out our second page and what we need to do to prototype that. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting some of my assets on the page. So I have already pulled in some of my icons here. Luckily, we have this amazing plugin called Icons for Design. If you guys don't have that downloaded in XD already, definitely you want to, because I can type in anything in here, if spelled correctly. I can get anything that I desire in regards to icons. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my menu in my back arrow, not the forward arrow. I'm just going to flip this here, and I'm going to align these. Make sure that they're centered, and we'll worry about the placement of them in moments to come. I'm just going to stretch this out and just constantly go back and forth between my projects here. Now, one thing that I will do, this is probably like a no-no for some, but if you guys have watched my DCCs, you guys watch me on my YouTube channel, you guys know anytime you guys are doing something new, or even me, I like to slap my pictures or my screenshots actually within my artboard. Especially if you guys are new. Also, shout out to those of you in the chat who are 100% new to Adobe XD. Put 1 in the chat if you guys are new. This helps tremendously. One of the biggest things that I had trouble with learning design was like, okay, I know I can get assets, pictures, things of that nature, but how do I know if I'm like actually designing well? And I always do, you know, I always do copy and paste just to make sure, especially even though I'm learning, I want to kind of learn from the people I'd like to actually learn from and see how they, you know, how they space things of that nature, just to train my own eye based on how they do things. From here, I'm going to, we have some nice newcomers to Adobe XD. This is for you guys. I'm going to draw out a quick circle, and I am getting double audio, so give me a second, guys. I am just going to do something here. All right, there we go. All right, so I have my circle. I'm just very quickly going to add a image there. I can very simply just go to my plugins, user profiles, insert random photo. There we go. All right, so I have my profile photo. She's a little cropped, but maybe we'll just do another one. We'll see what happens. All right, they're all cropped. Definitely not that one. All right, that works. All right, and we're just gonna, we actually might just take our name from here, from our component, because one of the things that is really tricky today is this piece. And we already are like 8 minutes in, and I really want to explain how that piece works, especially when we're prototyping. But because that's like the magic that you guys are going to learn here today. All right, so I'm also going to grab this title as well. We really should have just used the kitty, guys. You know what? It's looking at us sadly because we decided, you know, actually it looks a little creepy. Maybe that's why we didn't use it. I thought it looked sad. It totally does not. All right, so we have my pieces here, or our pieces here. Now we're gonna reconstruct this from scratch because this is actually, it's pretty dense. There's a lot of things going on here, and I wanna do this from scratch with you all. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull out a rectangle. April says, love your mood boards. Shout out to April, much appreciated. We dig that. We're gonna grab our purple, take off our borders, and we are gonna just pull this radius up to match almost with the image that we're using in the background. And now, I really don't have to type these out. Again, we're like already 10 minutes in, so I'm just gonna copy my text that I had here. If you guys really, to type anything out, to put it simply, because I know there's our new people here. Just press T on your keyboard, click your mouse button, and just like slap your keyboard once. And you can just duplicate what it is, make it smaller, and make it, depending on how you have your font set up, this could be your title, this could be your subtitle. That's essentially what I did. And I just copied it 3 times. I'm going to ungroup this very quickly. Ungroup component, thank you. All right, so I have 3 individual groups. And what I'm going to do now So I'm going to turn the opacity up on this background back up. I'm going to group these three things rather than a component. And I'm just going to draw, I'm going to press L on my keyboard. I'm going to draw two little borders here. Make them white. Return the opacity will drop to like 30. And I'm just going to duplicate it holding Alt on my keyboard. I believe it will be Option if you are on Mac. And I'm going to group this entire thing. The border on the top, border on the bottom, and my copy in the middle. So right now we have our box in the background. We have our fonts, or excuse me, our options and our borders. And now I'm just going to center this in our box. So now let's go back to what we're looking at here, just so you guys can see that animated. The box collapses on our button. Like I said, we're gonna have to do something very interesting to get that to happen, because our button is over here. And so what we need to do is I'm actually going to pull this photo that we had in the background. I can pull that out now. Because what we're going to do, actually, before we do that, I'm gonna steal this circle. Now, how you make this circle is pretty simple. I'm just gonna explain it to you. I drew out a circle. I picked my lovely orange, turned off the browser, and I clicked V, which is our little arrow tool over here, the select tool. I double clicked our circle and I just started clicking points, pulling them, pushing them, just like that. So you guys can make some blobs, okay? And you can rotate it any which way you want, but I'm just gonna take this one and I'm gonna plop it right in here. Now, in our example, the orange is behind all of our text. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna push this behind our text here. Make sure it's behind everything. Now, what's interesting is we don't have, there's no mask. If I pull this anywhere on our artboard, it's just there. You just see it. We want it to be hidden, okay? I wish I just had the recording of, here we go. So when we press that button, the blob comes out of essentially the void. And that's what we're gonna have to do. So this is where things get like super tricky. What we're gonna do is we're gonna group this entire block. So we should have this, just like this. We need a blog plugin. We definitely do. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm just gonna duplicate this, just so we have the original here. And I'm doing this off the artboard because you guys will see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, or actually I'm going to duplicate this background rectangle. I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste it, and now you guys can see there's two. All right. Now I want to pull this rectangle outside of this folder that I have. I'm going to Control X, Control V. Now it's outside of my group. Okay, and I'm just going to call this our mask. Fergie says blobular. Indeed. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this mask. I'm going to just make it another color so it's we can see this. And I'm going to take this group. I'm going to select them both. So one, hold Shift, click, right click, and I'm going to do mask with shape. So now you guys can see, okay, well, this is how we make it so that the blob stays inside. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this mask. Whoops. And we are going to pull it here. So essentially, let's take a look at this. Let's break this down really quick. We have a new group. This is our masked group. And inside of our mask group, we have our mask, which is that pinkish rectangle that we made. And inside of that, we have our group of content, which was this. So now anything that is inside of this mask group, it will be hidden if dragged outside of that square. So, all right, we have part one done. That's the mask. Next, we have to do is make it so that this content, essentially, when this button is clicked, it condenses, or it shows around the button, which is pretty odd. Or it collapses on the button. There we go. That's better terminology. So we're going to do it kind of what we did with the mask, but a little bit differently. So I'm going to copy this mask, paste it on top, and now what I'm going to do is, and hopefully I'm doing this correctly, if I recall, I'm going to select our mask group and this, I don't know what to call this, we'll call this mask 2. And I always like to offset it because if I do it the exact same size here, things get weird. And it gets very hard to tell which rectangle is which. So I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to go over to our right panel over here, and I'm going to do, let's see, I always forget which one it is. I believe that's it. No. There we go. We're going to do this furthest right one, the collapsed one. Or I think, what is this called? Exclude overlap. Now what we want to do with this, I'll explain what this does in a second. It basically excludes, or at least I hope that this is the correct one. Let's see. Oh no! Alright. This is where I needed the refresher, guys. Hold on 1 second. But what we might do at first, let me cheat very quickly. Like I said, this is very gets iffy. All right, 1, 2, and then 3. Got it. Okay. I missed a step, ladies and gentlemen. This is why. All right, let's back up. All right, so what we're gonna do is we are gonna undo our entire, we masked too early. So I'm gonna undo our mask here, and I apologize for that, guys. What I'm going to do is, I'm gonna take our pink rectangle, duplicate it, and I'm gonna make this another color just so we can understand what's going on. And I'm gonna do what I tried to do previously to this, to just these two. Select them both, click exclude overlap. There we go. So we want this exclusion piece. And now I'm just gonna, this will make sense in just a second, guys. Just hold on. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this piece, put it on top of here, and I'm going to mask with this shape. Okay, hold on, let me break it down. Okay, so now what this does is we have a masked group where we have an exclusion, where there are two rectangles on top of each other, basically saying, hey, let me show you. We have a rectangle within a rectangle. And with this rectangle within a rectangle, if I can click them, we're basically saying, okay, hide anything inside of or covered by this rectangle and everything else just show. So what we're gonna do here is to show everything, what we can do, we're gonna take our topmost mask. So this mask, this top rectangle, and guys, you will be able to watch this over again. We're getting deep, okay? But you guys can rewatch this, we're fine. And I'm going to hide, I'm going to just scale this all the way to almost like 0. Make sure it's 1 to 1 here. And I'm going to pull this back on our artboard, just like this. Okay, whew, a lot of work. Now all we're going to do is this. We're going to duplicate this to our previous artboard. I'm holding Alt. Perfect. And I'm gonna go to our mask, our exclusion piece. I'm gonna go all the way in here, and I'm gonna scale this all the way up. Whoops. I think I rotated a little bit. All right, boom. So now I'm gonna basically pull it all the way to its edges, and what that does is it hides all of it. Ta-da! And so now, what we can do, this is the magic part. All of that work, now let's take a look. Because now I can delete some of this stuff. All I need to go is to my prototype tab, click on get started, take this over here, drag it, over to our second artboard where we want it to go. And we want the trigger on tap. We want our transition to be auto animate. Ease out is fine. You know what? Nope, we stick with snap, ladies and gentlemen. And let's take a look. We're gonna go to this back arrow and we're just gonna slap it this way. And let's check it out. So we're gonna press play. When we press get started, ooh, no, what happened? Group, let's check all of our names here. Group 29, aha, the name changed. Naming conventions are super important. I was about to say in League of Legends, but in Adobe XD. Oh no. What could have happened, guys? I am so saddened. Guys, this is what we'll do. If we can't figure this out in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to have to make sure that I talk to Sam and Gus to give you guys the actual one of these. Because for some reason, I double, triple checked pretty much all of this to make sure that this worked live. But I do want to make sure that you guys get how this works. At least to try this out. But if anything, you guys know how to do the mask, things of that nature today. But yeah, being able to wait, hold up. Oh, that's not okay. I thought it was it. I was like, did it magically fix? Like Fergie said, name your layers. Because this, especially this, I should have given you guys the component for this because this actually takes quite some time to actually build. But because I copied and pasted, it should have kept the layer names. Oh, it did not. Layer 3, mask, group 2, 6. All right, this might like, yeah, this is gonna take too long. Essentially, when I copied and paste everything, usually I don't have this challenging of literally every layer was changed. Usually it's the top layer. But essentially, I would have to go back in, change all the layer names to be the same, and we would get, there's a lot of typing, we can't do that in the next 2 minutes, but we would have exactly what we have here, where we have the get started, that nice little animation, and essentially we would just duplicate this page and add a hover to it. So guys, sadly I don't have enough time to showcase that. Note to self, make things a little bit simpler, but I will try to give Gus the project file for the full thing so you guys can go through this. But Leah, no, the layers aren't in the wrong order. When I copied and pasted them, which is note to everybody, not to self, when I copied and pasted this to the artboard, it changed 100% like all of the layer names, which is no bueno. So we have about 2 minutes here, guys. Let's go through how to submit your stuff. Some of you guys have already submitted. Let's take a look at that, and let's talk about how to submit your stuff on Behance as well. First things first, I'll make sure that we can get through the entire thing tomorrow, but at least you guys saw how to do the mask exclusion piece, which is something that's really tricky, and most people don't know you could do it. But how to submit your challenges every day is submit your work on Behance and tag it with XD Daily Challenge, and also submit your work in our Discord channel. We have in our feedback section, we have a challenge channel. Just submit your stuff. Fergie and Drew and a few other people have already submitted their stuff, Nadia, and we're looking forward to seeing your stuff in there. I'll be on the chat, and actually I will link in this chat the actual Dropbox version that I have, so you guys can play around with the complete version of this. So if you want to check it out, join the Discord, link will be there. You guys can play around, and thanks for your patience. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Remember to submit your work, and we will see you then. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out, guys. Have a great day.